गुलाबी मुखड़ी केवली छजीरे नाक की नथुनी केवली छजीरे नाक. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time zone you're logging in from. I'm Nina Kler, and I'm really excited to be having this conversation with Kelly Dorji, the actor, artist, model, founder of a luxury travel company, and the author of the incredibly inspirational coloring book, The Hidden Rainbow. Thank you so much for joining in, Kelly.
Hello, Nina. Thank you for being with me today and taking on this session.
I'm so excited. I was so hoping to meet you in person, but unfortunately, rain has played truant with us. So we have to make
Yes.
do with it.
Yes. And while we are safe at home, wherever we are, we also wish the people in Nainital a safe next couple of weeks where we expect so much rain and what's caused us to cancel this festival. Our heart goes out to Janvi. Both of us were talking about that, right?
Absolutely.
And we hope they're going to be safe and become happier. And we'll do our best at this session so that we can try and make it like it was the real thing, right?
Absolutely. So how are you doing today, Kelly?
Yeah, all right.
Wonderful.
Party.
Sorry?
Party.
Lovely, lovely. So when I picked up the book, my first thought was, what is the hidden rainbow?
The hidden rainbow. The hidden rainbow is a labor of love, a labor of anxiety, a labor of so much of what I'm feeling regarding the duality of life and everything. And I just felt I needed to release myself into this thing. And actually, it was a huge burden. It caused me a lot of pain to go through it, but I think it was a lot of pain in order to heal spiritually. So yeah, the book means so much more than anyone will ever know. But I'm glad that the result of it brings little joys to people.
Yeah, so this is the result of it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And while I haven't gotten down to coloring it yet, I told my daughter after I'm done, she's looking forward to coloring it. But it's absolutely exquisite, Kelly. It's really
Thank
beautiful,
you.
and one can see it's a labor of love. It really is a labor of love, isn't it?
At this point, yes, I really must give all the credit to my wonderful, wonderful literary agent and, Mita Kapoor of CIE. And I really want to thank her so much for getting me Penguin and for Penguin in believing in me and taking on this book and taking on the Indian subcontinental rights, but also the world rights for the book.
Oh, how wonderful. So,
Yeah.
Kelly, you spoke about that, that you went through some amount of pain while writing this book. So I'm just curious to know, because I'm representing the audience at this point, and I'm sure they're wondering that what was the kind of pain? Was there something that happened in your life that nudged you in this direction? Something that propelled
No,
you?
I think it's just a culmination, of so many pains that you accumulate through life. It could have been, it could have been anything that happened in the past, whatever. Cannot attribute pain to any one incident, but I think just generally, And when you feel such things, then you want to either meditate or go for a run or climb a mountain or go for a retreat or even write a book for that matter. It's up to you. I decided to take on the most difficult task because I'm in no way literate or literary bound. And I'm so grateful because I met Mita Kapoor and she decided that she'll make me um, a director of a literary festival. And not only that, but also start needling me to write a book. And I was like, wow, yeah, she thinks I can do it. Maybe I can. And I landed up with high blood pressure at the end of it, but it was okay. It was coming.
But I think, Kelly, sometimes, it just takes one person to make you believe in yourself. That's what I feel. I think
Yes,
everybody
yes,
has a
for
book
sure.
in them, a story,
I'm
right?
sure. Yeah, I know. And my mother, for example, she's such a wonderful lady. She's been through so much in life, and she's still writing a book, and she doesn't feel confident right now but you just needle her every week or so. You just say, hey, how's that thing coming along? Where do you think you're going to take it next? And then she starts getting tickled about it and starts talking about it and writes another few lines, So maybe one day it'll be done.
How lovely. I noticed when I was reading your introduction, I don't know whether this is my copy or this is Janvi's copy. So, you wrote about, I thank my father, brothers and sisters for their love and support. And then I wrote over here before I got to the end, mother, question mark, like what happened to his mom? And then I saw that your mom had her own paragraph. That's wonderful. It's great that you have a wonderful relationship with your mother.
Yes, she was very much largely responsible for making me who I am today. So I owe everything to her.
Wonderful. So since the theme of the festival is calm, right? So I'm curious to know, what do you, Kelly, do to center yourself on a regular basis? Or is it just on the fly when you need to center? What do you do to center yourself?
Gosh, Nina, we were talking about this once, and I think needing to feel calm is really important. What I do, I tend to turn to a little bit of meditation. I tend to turn to family. Nothing like family. In fact, the first thing that I do as a remedy is go running to my family, my immediate family. It could be my mother, my brothers, my sister, or my wife now. But I just pick up the phone. I need to hear just one of their voices, and I feel much more better. I feel calm. And for anybody who feels a certain amount of anxiety, no matter at what level, I think you need to be able to identify what your magic pills are.
So tell me something, is there a regular meditation that you do that helps you, or what do you prescribe?
I used to meditate objectively or with an object meditation. But after joining the Art of Living and learning the Kriya from Sri Sri Ravi Shankar and turning a little bit more spiritual than I was before, I found that his form of meditation, the Kriya, was fantastic for me. And till today, I do turn towards it. And I say, even though I'm not practicing so much as an art of living person, I still do the Kriya sometimes.
So I actually learned it, good Lord, a lifetime ago, I think the early 2000s, and I found it very powerful, but I just couldn't find the discipline to do it regularly somehow, but it's very powerful.
It is powerful. Did you do the short Kriya or the long Kriya?
It was, this was early 2000s, so I think it was at least, so I had to chuck my ex-husband out of the room when we were on holiday. That's what I remember, about half an hour. So I think at least 19 or 20 minutes, something like that. And then I think it was the fact that the first time that I ever did the whole Bhastrika, so the whole fast, it was literally like a spiritual orgasm. Suddenly you're like, whoa, what the hell just happened, Harry?
I think it's a bit of oxygen rush. And you're filling your lungs up and you're filling your capillaries up with so much oxygen and that play and your heightened awareness. And then you suddenly build up into a calm and you can just feel the entire zing through your bodies in the initial stages. So it is fabulous. And I recommend the Kriya to everybody.
Yeah, wonderful. So I wasn't aware, like I told you, unfortunately, stereotypically, one looks at Kelly Dorji and you're so gorgeous, and that whole thought process of pretty which comes in, and I think, okay, he's a pretty boy. And unfortunately, that's a stereotype. When somebody's pretty and you're in the glamour industry, you obviously are not credited with any kind of intellect or creativity. I mean, unfortunately, and I'm guilty of that as well. So when I learned about the length and breadth of work that you're doing, I was truly fascinated. So of course, I went to town Googling you. And when I saw your artwork, I was really fascinated. I mean, I looked at it and I just kept looking. It's so rich, it's so vibrant, and it's so beautiful, Kelly. It's really stunning.
Thank you very much. Trust me, I've had my moments of himbo, and I think there must be a trail of people I've left behind in my life who still think I'm not very, very smart. But I don't care. I've got this book to prove that I have a little bit of intellect and that I've read a book since Facebook. So, and I go on and I just, I want to create, and I keep getting held back. I think I do try to do too much. So I'm trying to narrow the things that I do down in my life now to just one. I was a jack of all trades. I want to be a master of one. So I have decided that I'm going to work towards cutting everything off in my life and just doing art. I want to do art forever.
How lovely. I think it's really a gift when one reaches that point of realization where you can zoom in and narrow in on one thing that you want to focus your energies on.
It's not easy, no. You have to think practically because I was married. I've been married for 3 years now, and I need to keep food on the table and everything. But my wife is so kind; she's decided to work as well, so it balances itself out. So, and she's getting to do what she wants, not what she has to.
That's great. That's so great. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm curious to know also, Kelly, because you mentioned to me about your spirituality, right? So do you believe that when somebody focuses and narrows down on one point, that have you seen the universe conspire to make things work for you now?
Gosh, I mean, I'm surrounded by angels. I'm surrounded by living human beings who might as well just be goddesses and gods, and I truly believe that the power of prayer and positive thinking can make miracles happen. And I'm not banking on miracles, but as long as you keep a positive outlook, which is not the easiest at sometimes, and keep yourself honest and have compassion and consideration for other people, some things just work out, and you'll be happier for it. And I believe that.
But tell me, did you have a problem being compassionate with yourself ever? Did you ever suffer from self-hate or like a lack of self-love maybe?
I, to be honest, I think I would like to be very candid with you, Nina. I think I still suffer from a little bit of a lack of self-worth, so to speak. And those are the people around me often remind me, hey, be good to yourself. Hey, that's my husband you're talking about. Hey, that's my son, And I say, yeah, okay. I count my blessings.
You're lucky, Kelly. You're lucky. Yes, I was talking about your art, right? And you've used color therapy as a method of healing. I mean, your book highlights color therapy as a method of healing. I want you to talk a little bit about that, please. And is there a color that calls out to you? Like for me, it was the blue that you used that called out to me.
Blue. Let me tell you quickly a little bit about blue. And first, of course, the fact that I use the color so much. Color therapy has been used. Coloring has been used as a therapy for as long as medical science has been recorded, and it's known to have a positive impact on so many people with mental and other issues that can be identified. But I particularly have a fondness for the color blue because it is the rarest of all colors. And it is also the most beautiful to me, but also the most dangerous. Yes. Did you know that less than 1% of all species on Earth that appear blue to us are not actually blue at all? They just trap the light and trap the light and the pigments on their skin and reflect back the color blue, which shows that even a little insect that if you poured rubbing alcohol on, they would just turn plain gray or brown. And then when that dries up again, that blue will shine back. It just shows that even those animals aspire to appear blue. It's amazing. I did a art exhibition locally here in Bhutan called Blue, and I made all my paintings around the color blue.
So blue was my favorite color growing up. So I have a sister, an older sister, and somehow I became a tomboy. So when my parents designed this house when we were moving to India, my sister chose pink, and I wanted to be a boy always. So I chose blue. Everything, Kelly, down to my cushions, to my bed covers, every single thing was blue. And when I saw that blue in one of your paintings, it really spoke to me. And I said, I want to ask you, so blue is the color that speaks to you as well?
Absolutely. If you just hashtag Kelly Dorji art, you'll see blue is quite dominant in all the work that I do.
Oh, nice. there's so much I want to know. I mean, so I'm quite fascinated by the fact that one of your existential mandala, I think you mentioned about the modern world and existential angst, so to speak. So I'd love for you to elaborate a bit about this, if you could.
The mandala that I did in my book. Now, please understand, all the artwork in this book is not actually my own artwork. It's all rearranged existing iconography that has been passed on for over 1,000 years in Buddhism, and I just took that existing iconography and twisted it a little bit just to give myself some meaning. And I redesigned the whole process, and it did help me a lot in the art that I'm doing today in my own contemporary style. But this particular mandala, I've used, if you can see, many triangles to represent the different realms. And I think it's really important that we see it through a prism, because the duality that I mentioned in the whole process is not heaven and hell only. We have to pass through so many different realms. And, not because you're good that you go to heaven, or not because you're bad that you go to hell, but eventually in your cycles of life, we as Buddhists believe that you're going to have to pass through all the realms. And, it's a scary process, but it's a part of understanding that acceptance. So we learn that now in this life, so that in the eventuality of it actually happening in our beliefs, we'll be ready to identify where we are.
So I'm just curious to know as well, how do you view the modern world today? If I were to ask you, Kelly, what do you think of the world that we exist in today? What would you say?
I think, as the Vedas say, we are in the age of Kali Yuga, right? In the whole, in the spiritual world, we are in a world of give so that you get. But very often, I think we give in order to profit. So I think spiritually, we are a little bit bankrupt in today's world. So we really do need to spend more time introspecting or reflecting and being more compassionate towards all the people. His Majesty, the King of Bhutan, in a speech also made a quote where he says, and I've given it at the beginning of the book, where he says that everybody is a stakeholder in the natural resources of the world, only the natural resources, but this whole planet. So we are responsible for what goes on the other side of the globe as much as they are for us. And I think we need to do that.
I was so happy to hear from you yesterday when you told me about how, His Majesty supported the entire country during COVID. I think that was just such a wonderfully, it was a heartwarming story. I told my parents at dinner about it, and they were like, "Oh my God, that's just so wonderful."
Oh, we are so fortunate. We are really, really fortunate to be in the care of such an enlightened soul. It's really, really amazing.
I have to get to Bhutan.
Yeah, come. Everybody show up. It's looking great. It's it's looking fresh, and we've rearranged our entire tourism policy, and we're very, very happy to receive everyone now.
What's the weather like right now, Kelly?
Cold. No, it's not cold. It's become global weirding, hasn't it, Nina, where we can't really predict the weather anymore. And that's why we're sitting here on the internet, right? Because we're supposed to be in the lovely climes of Nainital in October. It's like famously the most beautiful month to be there, the onset of autumn. Bhutan is a little bit higher up than Nainital. I mean, we in Thimphu are a little bit higher than in Nainital. So autumn is coming a little bit sooner for us, and the leaves are browning, and within a month or so, we're going to have a lot of gold mixed amongst the evergreens. It's going to be lovely.
Ah, super. But I want to come back to the concept of duality. I want to know, how do you cope with duality? Because I sense that you're a sensitive being. So how do you cope with duality?
I promised myself I wouldn't use profanity over here, but and I won't. But I can be a mean guy too. I think being human, being human, the only thing that separates us from the animals is choice, right? So um, we have to be careful not to let our instincts take over too much, and try to conduct ourselves as how we aspire civility to be, or compassion to be for one another, and even for other sentient beings. You don't have to be compassionate just towards other human beings, but towards all human beings, all living beings on the planet. And that's where duality plays a very, very important role, especially for me, because it's about the yin and the yang, as most people will identify with it as, the good and the bad, the opposite sides of the same coin. For example, duality can be traced very much into the self. For example, love and hate comes from the same place. You love from the heart and you hate from the heart. You feel greed and satisfaction through the same place. So it's very important to look within oneself and assess your own emotions and where they arise from, in order to find its nemesis, its opposite.
Okay, so I'm stuck in my head right now, but when you said that you can be a mean guy,
No, anybody can be. I'll be very.
I want to know, Kelly, that at what can disturb your sense of calm? What is that one thing that can really get you riled up?
You know, I am easy to rile up, by the way. I'm not this sharp, calm guy. I used to have many friends who we could like poke fun at, and we could like draw mustaches on while they were sleeping, and they'd wake up and they just like rub it off and give us a wag a finger at us, and then forget about it and just move on. And I think it's important not to carry things with you. It reminds me of one of the stories in the book at the end where Guruji talks about carrying the baggage with you. So I'm learning not to carry baggage with me. I'm trying to be a calm guy, shant guy. So I will not give my secrets away about what riles me up.
Right. That was the last story, right, in the book? That was the last page, wasn't it?
Yes.
See, I did my homework. I'm a good girl. Like I was telling you that when I picked up the book and I started reading it, it was so interesting because one studied Buddhism in school and then you study it just as another chapter in history, right? So now when I'm looking at Four Noble Truths or the Eightfold Path, it's a totally different connotation, right? So from what I understood when you explained the Four Noble Truths, I understood that you Kelly, believe that desire is the culprit of all sorrows. So how has this played out in your life? And is it true or have I misunderstood?
Oh, I'll give you a simple sentence. Retail therapy is great. And that means desire. So many people feel satisfaction in chasing material goods, whether they're buying it or it's being given to them or they acquire it through earning. The fact is, we're in the race to acquire more. And I think that plays a very, very big part in the whole aspect of the unending desire of getting more. So the moment you have something, you want more. I got an iPhone 10, and then the next year I was like, I think I got to get the next one, and it just kept going more and more. I had football boots, so I wanted nice, shorts to go with it, and then I wanted nice, cool drinks to go with that, and so my equipment just getting more and more. I used to have a simple motorcycle, and then I wanted a more fancy motorcycle. So things just, escalate in desire. So if you cannot stem what really you need in life without giving into what may be unnecessary for you to have, and it's a completely personal choice, then I think it would be very difficult to find any sort of backing away or protection against sorrow arising from desire or even expectation. Sorry, I'm not a guru, Nina. I'm really not a guru. I'm completely repeating the scriptures and the philosophy of the Buddha. I am nobody. I have no idea about individual philosophy. I do have some idea about what I believe in, but I'm telling you what I read and what I was taught.
I came back to India over a decade ago to go through my divorce. And then, so of course, I'd been out of the dating scene for like almost a decade. I'd been married and all of that. So when I got out there, the first guy that I met, he was older than me. And he told me one thing, because I want to keep seeing him over and over. And he said to me, Nina, it's never enough. Meeting somebody, spending time, nothing is ever enough. And it didn't register then, but now it makes sense to me, that nothing is ever enough.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever enough.
You got yourself a good guy. Or was he telling you something?
No, I'll tell you what. I realize men come and men go. That's not the focus of my life. I realize that for me, this is a very big teacher, right? So when I noticed about your mother, I realized that for me, my journey is to be a better person because I have a kid who's a reflection of me. So that's my journey at this point. Men come, men go. It's not the focus of my life anymore. So I'm in a good space. There was a time where I really wanted a relationship and there was zero calm in my life. So I realized that, I have to be a happier person on my own. And that's the most important part of my journey.
Do you feel that your journey would have been the same had you not had your child?
No, I would have been a hedonist. I would have been a train wreck. I would have been like, good Lord, a completely different person. I'm happy that whatever happened in my life and the things that didn't work out, I'm grateful. I was just, as I was getting ready, I was just thinking, I said, I'm grateful that things didn't work out because Kelly, I didn't even work till I was 40 years old, which is like a couple of years ago. Yes.
Wow,
so I studied and studied and studied, and I had zero desire to work. So I mean, for me now, the middle path that you've referred to of Buddhism, I'm trying to find that. So where do you feel you're at when it comes to the middle path?
For so many people, I think finding the middle path is very, very difficult. For you, for example, I think you should recognize your daughter as the duality, as the balance. And I think any upset in that balance would cause extreme happiness or extreme sorrow and angst. So for me too, I feel that on many levels, I look for my duality, and I married my duality. I really feel a wonderful connection with her. But very, very often you feel that that middle path is a razor's edge, and it's difficult to identify that path or even to stay on it. It's just a feeling that you have as you go, and you're completely beset by offsets on all sides as you go along. But it's okay. That's life, right? You just, even if you fall off, you just jump back on again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kelly, I really wish, we had more time. And I wish I was there in person so we could have hung out and I could have picked your brain till the cows came home. But one day. So in the interest of time, we're going to have to wrap up. But thank you so much, Kelly. This was such a wonderful conversation.
Stay in touch, Nina. I think we have a lot to talk about, and hopefully we'll be able to connect with the audience of the wonderful Himalayan Echoes again together in the future. And I wish them all the best. I wish you all the best. And I think I've made a friend in you. Look forward to seeing you in Bhutan or seeing you in Delhi when I come. And thank you so much for everything. Thank you, Ankita, for putting this.